Hey, it's Jack from Alpha Charts 365 with a state of the market video. Today is February 11th, 2023. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. Also, if you haven't done so yet, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It does help me out. I really do appreciate that. And you can find me on Twitter at AlphaCharts365, where I share thoughts, ideas, polls, whatever, all kinds of information all week long. So please check me out on Twitter at AlphaCharts365. The last thing I want to mention is, if you haven't done so yet, the Trader Lion group is putting on an IPO Master Class with the people that literally wrote the book, The Life Cycle Trade, on trading IPOs. If this is interesting, if you're interested in this type of knowledge and getting this edge, it does start relatively soon. Again, we're Saturday, so it starts on Saturday, and they still have some early bird tickets left. I know that this will go away once the class starts. So if you do want to get in and you're watching this video early on Saturday morning, I'll have the link down below for you guys to get in. It's still going to be a great class, whether you get in the early bird tickets or not. I will be attending it, and again, hope to see you there. All right, let's get into the charts. SPX, we have the trend line. It broke, great. Now we have this inverse head and shoulders base, right? So it's doing everything right. 200-day moving average, when you go, is starting to flatten out, right? We've been talking about the flattening of the 200-day now for really a few weeks. And this was the progress that we were talking about that would cause to flatten. And it's happened, right? And so next week, right, we're right here on April 26th, right? That's the 200 days back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so for the next week, all this data will be gone. And really next 2 weeks, all this data will be gone. So if price can just kind of chop around here, right at this important area, right? Let these moving averages kind of catch up. This 200-day will be flat to rising within 2 weeks. And that is, I think, very significant. So, we've been hearing a lot of, at least I have, a lot of bearish comments as far as, recession's coming, earnings recession's coming, this is the start of a bigger leg down, whatever. Right now, the S&P is not pricing that in. Now, we did say things were extended, right? Things were extended, and expectation was there was going to be a 3 to 5% pullback. So let's see, on the week, there was a 1.1% pullback. Now, there's not exactly the full story there, because top to bottom, it was 2.8%. So there's like some volatility in there, but really it's just an inside week to the prior week, right? So this isn't things falling apart, in my opinion. This is just consolidation within the context of a potential new uptrend, right? And that's the way that I'm viewing this market: consolidation within the context of a new uptrend. So on the week, this was down 1.1% on lower volume. Again, that's something that we want to see, right? You see here, net new highs again versus new lows was green. So again, to me, this looks more like a bottom. And some people will say, oh, it's a bear flag, right? Well, the proportions are off for it to be a bear flag on the weekly chart. It doesn't work in my eyes. This looks like a beautiful inverse head and shoulders on the weekly that has a lot of potential in it. RSP was down a little bit more, 1.37 on the weekly. And then let's go to the daily. And you can see on the daily, you already have that flattening 200-day. It's right there. And I'm going to move this to 26, right? You already have the flattening of the 200-day. And as this data over the next 2 weeks, and again, the month of February kind of will go away too. And February is always a tough month. I just feel like February and like September, right? Those are tough months. September, October. Anyway, as we get out of February, this 200-day will be flattening and then starting to rise. So, on the equal weighted. So again, looks really, really good. Let's just keep going. Qs, trying to not talk too much on this video. Again, same idea, downtrend line broke. We have decreasing volume as we get this pullback, which was expected. Even this 200-day is starting to flatten, right? Let's move this a couple of not. Oh, I was right, actually 26. That's right. Yeah, even this 200-day is starting to flatten as we get through this data. I think it's a huge positive. And this 299, this 295 to 300, 290 to 300, that zone is what has to hold on the cues for all this bullish talk to be legit, right? But again, decreased volume on the pullback, got way ahead of itself. The next major area, as long as this holds, is going to be this VWAP from the absolute high right here, right? That's the next level that you see we've had issues with in the past. So would love to see a pullback hold and then it come back, challenge, and break out of this 317 area. So, on the week, we've had a 2.2% pullback, also an inside week on the Qs, lower volume on the week, on the inside week. Love that. A little bit more volatile, right? Almost 4.5%. We said 3 to 5% pullback. This was 2.2 net, but there was a 5%, almost 5% in there. Looking at equal weights, that was down 2%, so a little bit better. Also, that inside week. Again, you can see a beautiful inverse head and shoulders on this weekly, just absolutely forming. So again, everything still looks really constructive. IWM on the weekly, we'll just stay here for a second. 3.39%, so definitely greater pullback. 3 to 5% pullback is what we were saying. Lower volume coming here, and it came back right to where the 23-day is. That 200 is already flat, right? So that's pretty cool. I already moved this one through, so that's good. And we're already working off, way ahead of the game, right? IWM, way ahead. So already working off. Everything looks good. This actually could start to rise over the next 2 weeks, right? So again, leading the market. Nice accumulation showing up on here. Hard to be bearish that. IWO on the week was down 3.3%. And again, much lower volume. And you already see a flattening or flat 200-day. Everything looks bullish. This pullback looks like an ordinary run-of-the-mill pullback. And just looking at MDY. And let's look on the weekly chart. Again, another inside week on lower volume, double bottom-ish look. You could even, it's a bottom, whatever you want to call it. And so there's a good chance, especially if price can break above, call it $500, that we are already in a stage 2, especially in mid caps. Definitely leading the market, and you can see that it's not only flat, but mid caps are starting to give that rise, right? You can just start to see it on there. So as long as we kind of rebound, let the 23 hold, or for sure the 50, I expect this 200-day over the next 2 weeks, when everything is flattening, this should be definitely on the rise already, leading the market. So looks fantastic. So on the index level, things consolidated, had inside weeks on lower volume, did everything that they were supposed to do in the context of an uptrend. So let's go ahead and look at some sector ETFs, XLF. Participating for sure, broke out, came back. This is just a little retest as of right now. Looks good. And again, here's a flat 200-day, which should start to rise over the next couple of weeks. So XLF participating, doing what it's supposed to do. XSD, this just got ahead of itself, in my opinion. Already 200-day is rising. That's very, very positive. You can see this nice, beautiful base. Just a little flag look to it, right? Again, going to the weekly chart, just a little inside week. It was down 1.89%, but just an inside week on lower volume. Nothing to really worry about yet. Now, if we get below this green area, that makes me more worried, right? And the 50-day should be close to that area too. So below the 50-day, below the green area, that'd be a little bit different. But as of right now, it's not doing that. It's doing everything right. XTN. Transports. All right, so that's a little more concerning, but not crazy yet. Transports trying to break out, got obviously way extended, big pullback here, and right now it's holding the 23-day, starting at the flattening 200-day. On the week, it was down 4.79. Again, inside week, because this was just a monster of a week. So inside week, but transports needs to hold literally here. You're starting at the bullish cross, so they're not definitely leading. You just don't want to see these guys break down, right? Would love to see some new highs coming in here, right? So we'll see, but definitely want to watch these transports. And there's the home builders. Again, kind of this flag pullback type action. We drew this in last week. That was kind of expected because, nothing goes straight up. Let it come back. Moving averages catch up. You already have a 200-day that's rising, right? So home building, jobs doing good. Semiconductors, manufacturing looks really good. Transportation maybe a little weak on that end. And financials, they're participating. They look pretty good. So overall, I think that the sector ETFs look good. I think that means that there's likely that we continue to have a strong economy, and it should help support the markets. All right, now let's get some of this garbage off the screens, and let's look at some internals. VIX. As expected, we got a little spike up, but it never got really, what was that? Basically never got to 21, right? So VIX is still relatively low in general. Kind of nice to see. Didn't get any kind of crazy spikes in VIX. Looking at credit spreads, got a little bit of a spike, right, over the last week or so. It doesn't really mean much yet. If we start to get above this trend line and really above this 1.58 level now, right, to make a new high, that would be different. I don't know if we get there or not. It doesn't, if the market is just doing a relative pullback, then it shouldn't, right? Looking at the dollar, dollar kind of rose some, has a flag, looks like it wants higher, right? That could be a headwind for the market in general. We know on the weekly, we know that this area has been very, very important. And we'll see if this is, just a top, a retest, and then a go down, or if this is, a flag and we end up, above 105. So that's kind of like the area. So watching the dollar some, that could be a headwind for the market. I think bonds were, interest rates. Okay. So, interest rates. There we go. Interest rates rose a little bit too, but back into that, 3.75 to 4 area. You see, it's been resistance many times in the past there. So right now, it may just be making another lower high. Again, we'll watch TNX and rising, obviously, interest rates could be a more cautionary a tale, but we'll see what happens here. What else do we have? Put call ratio, right? Little spike. Some people are getting a little bearish. It's nothing crazy. It's not extreme by any means, but you want to see this people immediately switch to the world is ending, and that's a little bit of that switch right there. So that's good to see. It's good to see how, and honestly, if we get another couple, choppy, nasty week, let this keep going higher. Would love to see that, right? That's what makes a bull market. And then looking at breadth, pull back to right around 70. That's normal, right? We talked about how this was overheated and how pullbacks made sense. Again, it could pull back even more potentially, right? It doesn't mean this is over, but this is the expectation that the pullback was going to happen. So overall, the internals are hanging in there just fine, right? There's nothing negative to see there. And so overall, everything is looking good, right? I mean, so we had a pullback, and it feels like crap if you're in some of these growth names, right? Which I am, and so some of these names really pulled back nasty. But on the index level, at least, nothing is breaking. Nothing is really in danger. The internals are looking good. The sector ETFs are looking good. So at this point, I still think we're in a bullish environment, right? I still think this is, get into the stocks that you think have some real potential longer term. Hope you enjoyed the state of the market. If you did, leave me a like or a comment below. Thank you very much. Again, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Would love to see that continue to grow, and hope you all have a great week and a great day. See you at the IPO Master Class.